All right. Well, welcome to the March 2021 Carmen Race Intermediate School PTO meeting. There are several ways to keep in touch with us. There is our Gmail, which is caispto@gmail.com. There is our Facebook page at Bloomfield CAIS PTO, or you can email me directly, gjordan@blmfld.org. So overall, this evening, our agenda, we started a little bit late to give people a chance to join. We will hop into the principal's message with Mrs. Williams. And then we have Kishima Jones, our director, our district coordinator of extended learning and family and community engagement. What a mouthful. And then we will head on into updates on fundraisers and events, and we'll wrap up and have some questions. So just to let you know, I am your president, Gail Jordan. Vice President Tamara Butler is also on, as well as our membership chair, Latoya Lewis. And Mrs. Williams, do you want to share your presentation? Should I stop sharing my screen?
Yeah, if you could.
Okay.
But that would be great. Just make sure I was off mute.
Story of our lives these days.
Certainly right. All right, give me one moment. Oh no.
What's wrong? You want me to share it?
Yes, if you could. For some reason, it's not letting me do it. It's making me sign into Zoom differently. If you wouldn't mind, that would be fantastic.
Give me 1 second. Let me log into my email so I can pull it up.
Thank you. So basically for the ladies who are on right now, and if there are any gentlemen that I miss, I apologize. I think I only saw the moms. I was just going to go over this evening the re-entry plan and answer any questions that anybody had. We are back on Monday to more of an in-person learning model. And as everybody knows, because I think I've sent everybody everything a lot of times. So we are just making sure that everybody knows kind of what the health and safety protocols are. If they have any questions about their switches or changes in the schedule, we can go over that as well.
Sorry, Miss Williams. I have a lot
okay.
from you. I'm trying to figure out which one.
That is certainly very true. There's been a lot of information that I've had to disseminate and share in the last 2 weeks.
Correct.
Well, while we're waiting, does anybody want to come off of mute or ask any questions? Nothing? Nobody has anything for me?
I do have a question.
Go for it.
What was the result of the number of people who decided to change from virtual to in-person?
Great. So we had 3 children switch from in-person to virtual, but actually they were already virtual. They were just in an in-person homeroom. So we had a couple of children. So our teachers were doing both virtual and in-person at the same time. And so 3 of the people who were with a in-person teacher switched to fully virtual or stayed fully virtual. So they got put into a homeroom of just fully virtual kids. And then we had 22 children switch from enhanced distance learning back into in-person learning.
Okay, thank you. And that's for the intermediate for grades 5 and 6? You're on mute.
I must hit that. I'm so sorry. That's just for CAIS. CAMS, I'm pretty sure, is around, I think they ended up with like 45 returning from enhanced distance learning back into in-person. I don't know how many they had that went from in-person out to virtual.
And so with those numbers, do you have an idea of how the bus will look as far as being able to have space on the bus?
Yeah, so we just got the finalized bus information this afternoon. I know that I sent it out to my families or the intermediate school families today. I haven't gotten a chance to go over with Dr. Ellis yet what bus sizes will look like. We'll be doing that tomorrow together.
Okay, thank you.
Very welcome.
All right. Oops, I don't want to share it. Sorry. Present.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so this is just a letter from me reminding you that what we are doing right now is having the two current models of the in-person and the enhanced distance learning. There's no longer something called the hybrid model. So children are either coming 4 days a week or they are fully virtual. So I think some of the things that we needed to clear up for some families is that we were very accommodating and saying like, okay, you are considered hybrid, but you can decide to stay home and pop into your class virtually. We have ended that option, and it is either 4 days a week in person or fully virtual. And, you know, we just want to make sure that everybody knows that we're going to continue to work very hard at ensuring we're following all of the protocols from the CDC and the Department of Public Health. And again, thank you for trusting us with your children. And next page, this is just what to expect from us. We have live instruction. So you'll have in-person and the live enhanced distance learners. You also have attendance expectations. Our attendance expectations from the state actually talk about needing to make sure that children, get their work done and attend their live and in-person meetings, which is really important that families understand that there are both of those components for that. We have rigorous grading standards. Can you hear me? I'm so sorry.
Yes.
And say that we do, you know, have an understanding that some of our children were having a difficult time at the beginning of the year functioning with the the online virtual component, making sure that they knew how to get on, where they needed to get on. So I know that a lot of the unified arts teachers were doing some like no grades rather than giving children D's and F's. We are trying to give none of our children D's and F's because a 10 and 11-year-old are still really practicing with grades. That, you know, we're trying to make sure that they understand the severity of some of their choices if they are, you know, not doing work and what that could do to their grade average. But we want to make sure that they understand that this is still practice for them. We have multiple subjects per day. So all of our children will receive literacy, mathematics, science, and or social studies every single day. We have consistent learning platforms. So we all use Google Classroom. Grade 5 uses Zoom. Grade 6 has been using Google Meets for the live instruction component. We embed social emotional learning. I'm sure, and I hope that you've seen Mrs. Richter's, our Dean of Students, sends out our daily messages. All of the children get to participate in those. There's a circle topic of the day to support conversation and sharing of some of the kids' thoughts and feelings, giving them an opportunity to have that interaction with each other. We have teacher and staff and parent support, making sure that our lines of communication are open. Special education and our English language learners are still receiving a high quality of education, even if they're at a distance. And then virtual extracurricular activities. I am hoping that you know, and if you don't, I'm hoping you hear now, we have after school tutoring available for children. We have some of our school staff, and in addition, we are working with Tia Miller, who is a familiar name for many people in the town of Bloomfield. She and her staff are supporting our children with that. I'll talk about it in a little bit more deeply, but also we will be providing band after school for the children who are in the band program, because due to the change of our schedule at this point of the year, we had to eliminate band during the day because our kids would be in person playing band. There was some confusion and concern around half of the kids being in and out. So the best way to have handled that for all of the children was to continue having band, but being able to offer it right after school at the 3:15 time. You can go to the next slide. This is exactly the same link that we had at the beginning of the school year, or the same slide, just as an understanding of what does the day in a life of a child coming into our building look like, just so that you have some understanding of what their day should be, the expectations around safety for all of our children. So Please, please, please continue to do your morning checklist. This must be completed every single morning before the children and the staff come into the school building. The CDC requests that everybody checks these symptoms and make sure that you don't have any of these symptoms before your child or the adults in the building come into the building. So we're checking for things such as cough, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing, fever, anything above 100.4 degrees, chills, muscle pain, sore throat, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and a new loss of taste and smell. If you have had any close contact to someone that has been confirmed or even suspected of it, you should definitely call the school nurse and inform me so that we can help you understand what needs to happen next. This is if someone gets sick at the school building. If any of the staff member who becomes ill, if any student, sorry, or staff member becomes ill with questionable symptoms, will be evaluated by the school nurse. We have protocols in place that no child just goes down to the school nurse. We call her, tell her what's going on, and she decides if they should go directly down to a different area of the school. We call it the isolation room, but it's really just to make sure that no other children who go to the nurse just as a regular, maybe for their medication or whatever, would be potentially exposed. She will either say, go straight there. She will say, come down to her, or she will even say, I'll come down to you. Each school will identify the isolation room. That's what I just shared. Ours is right next to the front door, so that if the child does need to be picked up, it would be very easy for the parent just to come and get them without them having to kind of go through the entire building. And, the isolation room, actually, we have not had to use it this year, which is amazing, but it is cleaned daily. This is very small, so I apologize. If someone gets sick, this is just general. You can go to the CDC protocol link of what to do, but this really does just kind of reiterate some of what we do and the quarantine and the quarantine guidelines that are put out by the CDC. At CAIS, we'll follow the following safety protocols. Masks must be appropriately worn upon boarding the bus each morning, throughout the school day, and on the bus ride home, and that means over the nose and the mouth. We ask the children to wash their hands frequently, cover their coughs, use hand sanitizers, which are available in every single classroom. We're also putting some around the building. We practice safe social distancing. This is a new guidance by the CDC, 3 to 6 feet of separation. All school hallways are marked with tape that are actually 6 feet of separation to help us do that in the hallways even better. We're refraining from shaking hands or having any physical contact. We are grouping students in homeroom cohorts so that there is not cross homeroom contact. Bathrooms are sanitized throughout the day, and we ask that people keep their child home if they are running a 5 fever or have any COVID type symptoms. In addition, staff and student trainings occur to ensure proper practices and protocols, following hand washing, respiratory etiquette, use of the PPE, the face coverings, and proper social distancing. Sharing of learning materials and surface areas are limited and cleaned throughout the day. So all of our children, as you know, have their own Chromebooks and or personal laptops. Most of our kids have the school ones at this point. But we really do try to limit any sort of sharing of materials. And we do wipe down and sanitize and or clean the surfaces. Staff members responsible for cleaning and disinfecting are provided training. So this isn't just like the regular baby wipes that they do. This is more of like the actual sanitization. We've hired an outside company who goes around throughout the day sanitizing any high surface and high touch areas. So any sort of training is required for specialized PPE has happened for individual student needs. That is typically me, the school nurse, and the other principal in the building on the middle school side. Guidance from the Connecticut State Department of Ed indicating students are required to update their immunizations and their health assessments. Nurse Lewis is really good about checking in with families. 7th grade, for all my 6th grade families, 7th grade is the big year that you need your immunizations again. So start trying to think about that and talking to your pediatricians or primary care physicians to schedule appointments for that before the fall. And those are just your general immunizations. All staff and students are recommended to schedule appointments to obtain their flu shots if you have not already done so. So right now, as you can see, the school had 3 different reopening models for the school year. As you knew, the end of last year, everybody was in distance learning. We started the school year in the hybrid type learning. We are actually now in the number 1 in school for minimal COVID spread. This is our current plan as of March 29th. As I said, we're no longer considered in hybrid. We are now as an in school. This is just this is our current schedule from March 29th to April 9th. This is what the current schedule for grade 5 and 6 are for the in-person learners. And it will be updated on April 19th. So just to like kind of go over that with you guys. So everybody starting on Monday has unified arts every single day. So when children were home 2 days a week, they would have, or sorry, 3 days a week, including Wednesday, they would have unified arts only on the days that they were home. Now that children are in school 4 days a week, we had to change it. And now children have unified arts every single day, and they're going to be going with their homeroom to UA. So for children that are physically in the building, they'll be walking down to their unified art 4 days a week. And on Wednesdays, they'll still be logging into it virtually. The students who are at home every single day will log in with their homeroom to their unified arts every single day as well. At the end of the day, you see the 1:30, it says enhanced distance learning. Our children leave the school building at 12:30 and they go home to eat lunch. A lot of them have instructions to go on and complete something called iReady and or some other finishing up of schoolwork. And then the teachers have the children on at 2:15 to 3:05, those that were in the building. Today and tomorrow, our teachers won't be meeting with the children after school because they're getting the classrooms prepared and ready for the influx of students that are coming in. But next week and the following week, they will be doing their afternoon sessions from 2:15 to 3:05 as they are currently. This is the enhanced distance learning schedule from now into actually through the end of the school year. You see it goes through the end of the school day. As I said, they will be having their unified arts daily as well. The times have remained the same. This is actually the new unified arts schedule. So you can see the teacher's name. This is grade 5. The teacher's name is on the left column. And then you'll see day 1, day 2, it skips to day 4, and then day 3 is only every Wednesday. So, and you'll see it kind of makes sense in a minute, but if you are in Mrs. Rendock's room on day 1, you have PE and your teacher is Mr. Michaud. If you're Mrs. Rendock's class on day 2, you have art and your teacher is Mr. Spencer. And if you have Mrs. Rendock on day 4, you have music and it's with Miss Jones. Your day 3, which is always on Wednesday, remains what it has been the whole school year. So they still have that consistency, and we can do that because it's virtual. This is grade 6 and it just lays it out the same way. And this is the most important. The next one tells you what day it is. So Monday, March 29th is day 1. You can see that the 30th is day 2, day 3 is Wednesday, and then day 4 is Thursday. We don't have school on Good Friday, which is the 2nd. So it actually starts back up on day 1 on the 5th. And as you can see, we took out the week of April vacation and we did a no school on Monday of Memorial Day as well. So you can just see through the end of the year. So if the kids are ever like, hey, what day is it today? What do I have? You can always refer back to this as well. And the teachers will probably put this on their Google Classrooms and or post it in the classroom. We are still suspending the uniform policy to the end of the school year. However, we are asking that this dress code is followed, and it is from the Board of Ed's approval. So closed-toed shoes are worn at all times, no open-toed sandals. Really, that is all about safety. Shirts, dresses, tops must have sleeves. They can be short or long. We just ask that there are no tank tops. Pants, shorts, dresses, skirts, they just must go below the mid-thigh. No hats, however, headscarves, wraps, headbands are permitted. No hoods can be actually worn physically on your head, but if your sweatshirt has a hood, we're not saying they can't wear it this school year. And then no coats or jackets worn in the classrooms. I can tell you, I know I've been walking around a little bit and kids are like snuggled and huddled while they're reading a book or doing their work in their coats or their jackets. And we just have to remind them, like, just bring a sweatshirt, bring something else in. But when kids are wearing the giant big coats, sometimes it can be distracting. Materials, this is the same material list at the beginning of the school year, but for the families who are physically coming into the building, it's important for you to know what we're asking the children to bring in since they haven't been in yet. So all of the children will be bringing a Chromebook or a laptop. If you still need one, I have them. So please just reach out to me. You can see that there are things that come along with it. So it says you're receiving one, make sure that you bring it to school and bring it home every night. Please make sure you charge them every night. You're expected to come with it fully charged and in good working condition. We're not able to charge the Chromebooks here in the building. Again, that is really all about safety. A couple of my teachers who are just overly kind or like, I really want them to have their Chromebook charged. So they'll plug them in. And sometimes that can create a bit of an issue because then you have charger cords draped across the classroom. If there was ever an emergency, that would be a hazard. So we asked that not to happen. So the majority of work is done digitally. So to make a smooth transition between home and school, we just ask that you make sure that you go on the Google platform and understand that. And at this point of the school year, I think everybody is like a master at that at this point. If you're coming into the building, please make sure that you have a case for the following items and your materials are labeled with your name on them or your child's name. You can use permanent marker or stickers, 10 pencils, an individual sharpener, a small pencil top eraser, personalized hand sanitizer, personalized size tissues, and 3 masks. You want to make sure you bring 3 masks daily, just in case one falls, just in case you sneeze into one. It's just really important that you have those. And then the teachers are asking for 1 3-subject spiral note-bound notebook. That's just the ones that are like the 3M or any of those, just so that they can keep themselves organized. So this is really going through the day. So at the bus, the big points here, as soon as you're at the bus stop around others, you need to mask up and make sure it's over your nose and over your mouth. The bus monitor will assist on the ride to school. Students should sit by themselves whenever possible. And you want to have, when your child boards the bus, that they go to the back of the bus and then start going up so that nobody needs to unnecessarily pass by each other if possible. And then students should always be facing forward with their feet inside their seat, not looking backwards, not looking into the middle of the aisle. And that is every year just for the safest way to get to the building. When you arrive at school, so children are going to come off of the buses at 7:50, maintaining social distance the best that they can. They are already in their masks. They will continue to wear them into the building. Parent drop off is at the CAIS entrance at 7:55. We have them on a staff member waiting for children. We ask that nobody drops off or lets them out of the car ahead of time, because then it just helps for kids just want to congregate and be close together, and we're trying to avoid that. So please keep them in your car until 7:55. When you see the door open, you can let them out. Walkers will enter through the back of the building at 7:50 as well, wearing their masks. Masks must be worn at all times in the building. Each school has designated areas for mask breaks. Ours is outside. The teachers are putting together those schedules now. Hallways are marked with tape to ensure the safe social distancing while we walk in the hallways. And students are going to be using their lockers, but this is a really important part. Normally in a regular school year, our children go directly to their lockers. They unpack, they bring their stuff in. This year, they're going directly to the classrooms, or at this point of the year, I should say, they're going directly to the classrooms, unpacking in the classrooms. So all they have to do is literally take their jacket and their bag and put them in their lockers. It will limit the time that people are in the hallways, which is what we're trying to do. We've also put together a schedule so that only 2 classrooms in the hallway are out at the same time, and their locker pods are not near each other. Some of the teachers asked if we're asking parents to bring locks. I'm going to say this: if your child is proficient with their lock and can unlock it quickly, then yeah, that's fine. If they're having a difficult time and it takes them a really long time, some of the dials can be really tricky. You might want to practice now. But if it's only their backpack and their jacket and their locker, it's up to you guys. We're not enforcing locks. Classroom, just to be transparent, our class sizes right now are between 17 and 20. The teachers have done a very nice job of making sure that there is enough space between to suffice the 3 to 6 feet social distancing. All of our desks have the 3-sided plexiglass dividers. And we have 2 classrooms in grade 5 that have round tables, and they have a 4 cross between them so that it is protecting all of the children there. And again, the backpacks and the coats will be stored in the lockers outside of the classroom starting on Monday.
Meals. So from now until April vacation, they're going to be done exactly as they are already. And for the parents who are just sending their children in, meals are free. No, you don't have to fill out any forms. You don't have to do anything. You just have to have your child request that they would like to eat when they get to school. They will pick up breakfast in the morning that's wheeled down to the classroom. And then the teacher will say, here are the 3 choices for lunch for the day. There's a hot lunch, a cold lunch, and a fun lunch. The fun lunch usually consists of some sort of cheese stick, maybe some goldfish, and I think zucchini bread is a pretty popular one on those days. The children will pick their selection for the day, and at about 12 o'clock, the cafeteria staff wheels it back down to the classroom. They take their brown bagged lunch and they bring it home with them and they eat at home. After the spring vacation, we will be having full days. So we will be obviously using other areas in the building to have lunch. We'll talk about that right before spring break. I don't want to kind of mix it in with this evening just because it can get confusing. All right, bathroom breaks. We all need to use the bathroom. We know we're going to have staff in the hallways trying to help support the children that only one child is in the bathroom at a time. We have a little system where if you don't see anybody at the bathroom waiting outside, you go, you knock on the door and check if anybody is in there. If there's nobody in there, you go in. If there's somebody in there, you wait right outside the door until they leave and then you go in. If you see somebody waiting by the door of the bathroom, you wait outside of your classroom door until that person, the in the bathroom person leaves, the person goes in from outside, and then that next person goes and waits. We are really trying to ensure that the children understand that they need to wash their hands. We do the 20-second either singing happy birthday or counting. We've taught at the beginning of the school year, the teachers will reiterate to the children the paper towel trick, where once you wash your hands and now you have clean hands, take that paper towel you dried them with to open the door so that you're not retouching the door handle. And then you can just throw that paper towel you use in the receptacle right by the door. Custodians are cleaning the bathroom regularly throughout the day. We've requested that they use this check sheet where they are going to sign off at what times they cleaned the bathroom. And then if there was any needs. So if they replace the toilet paper, replace the paper towel, just so that we can make sure there's some accountability of things being done. And also it helps me know if there maybe was paper towel all over the floor. It just gives me an opportunity to go talk to the classrooms and say, hey, our custodian, Mr. Wayne, just signed off on the sheet and it said that the bathroom was kind of left a mess with paper towels on the floor. Don't forget, they've got to go in the receptacle. So it's just a little accountability on both parts. Transitioning and exiting the classroom. So again, we always want to limit transitions for social gatherings in the hallway. We are lining the children up in the classrooms before they need to leave to go to Unified Arts and or anywhere else. They don't line up in the hallway, so we're just limiting the amount of time people are in the hallway. We are going to use outdoor walkways as much as possible and where appropriate. So if they're going to or from gym and it's a nice day, they'll just use the outside areas to walk from one location to the other. Everybody, staff, students, are all wearing masks at all times unless it is a designated time to eat behind your desk shield and or you're having a mask break. We are following the 3 to 6 feet guidelines and no congregating, as I said earlier. And we are having people do hallway supervision just to help and support that everybody's following the safety guidelines. Same when you're leaving the building as it was when you're coming in. Dismissal starts at 12:20 with announcements. Roughly around 12:25, all of our walkers or pickups leave pickups through the CAIS entrance, walkers through the back of the building, and then we begin calling buses around 12:25. As the bus is called, the children will file out, giving 3 to 6 feet of social distancing and get on their bus. And they will wear their masks for the entire ride home. These slides are about special education, just ensuring that our families know that we are doing everything we can to completely follow and ensure that every child and adolescent with a disability is entitled to their free and appropriate education and their services, and making sure that this does not disrupt or affect the services they were getting. That there may be some interruptions to their regular education where they may be, because we can't cross cohorts, we need to be a little bit more thoughtful about the way that children are receiving services and from who. So I know that the special education teachers and or our student support staff has been in contact with all of our families of children receiving specialized services as well. And this is a continuation of that, making sure that everybody is substantially separate. That's what I shared on the slide before, and ensuring that everybody is remaining safe whenever possible. This I repeated from the beginning. We have after school activities. So we do our tutoring after school. Miss Jones is going to be doing band after school. There is still the before and after school care through extension, which is a paid program. Christine Johnson is the lead of that. If you are interested or in need, you can reach out to her there. We do not, unfortunately, this year have anything sport related. I know the high school does, so the CIAC is giving guidance around that, but unfortunately our programs this year just aren't up and running. Mask breaks are going to happen throughout the day. It consists of taking their masks off for a shortened period of time, up to 10 minutes. This may happen maybe at breakfast when they're eating behind their screens, lunchtime. Teachers take their children, sorry, my dog, sometime on some nature walks. Recess for grade 5 has been when they get home. We've not had to add it during the school day. After April vacation, obviously, we are going to readjust that so they get their needed and assured break throughout the day. Okay, so this is the last slide here, and please understand when I read the slide, this is not punitive. This is truly about safety. And I'm just going to read it as it is. Masks must be worn at all designated times while on school grounds. We know that this expectation may be difficult for some individuals, but to keep with the CDC and the DPH guidelines, along with Bloomfield Public Schools guidelines, we must follow the following procedure. Please understand that this is not punitive, but truly it must be followed to ensure the safety of all children and staff. And again, I'll say this, it's not punitive. We're not angry with children who are or staff having a difficult time wearing their masks. I'm glad you're laughing, Mrs. Jordan. But it's just the way that it needs to be in order to support and help our children who are having difficulty, along with the children who we just want to make sure that are not exposed. So step 1, if a student or staff is having difficulty following the expectations to safely and correctly wear their mask, nose and mouth covered, they will be reminded just one time by the supervising staff member. As an example, hey, Ms. Jordan, make sure you put your mask over your nose too. Number 2, if that same student or staff continues to have a difficult time following the safety requirement after the one reminder, they're going to be asked to leave the classroom just to go to a designated area and have a discussion about the importance of mask safety and create a plan to follow those expectations. They'll then just be returned to class. And the reason we're removing them from the class is if they're still unmasked, we just want to make sure that they're not remaining in the classroom, potentially exposing or being exposed to others. Step 3, if that same child and or staff continues to have difficulties following the safety requirement after they've been removed and created a plan together, we're going to call home and just ask the parents or families for support. And maybe together we can come up with a plan to help the child and or the staff follow those expectations. And lastly, and I will say our children have been incredible and our staff have been incredible. We have not had it any more than step 1 have to happen so far this year. Of just quick reminders. And really it's like my mask ear loop broke. Can you get me a new mask type of things? But step 4, if the same student and or staff continue to have difficulty after the family member has been contacted for support, we will just have to ask that that student remains home for a specific period of time until we can come up with a better plan for that child and or staff. And again, it's not punitive. We're not angry or upset or disappointed, or it's really just about safety. And with that, my portion of the speaking is over, but now I'll open up to questions.
I don't have any. Anybody? Okay.
So I know I sent out to everybody the bus schedules, new teacher changes, if what's going to happen. If you have any concerns or questions, my number is on there, my email is on there, just reach out.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mrs. Williams.
And the last plug I'll give, and I'm probably over my time and I apologize, but the last plug I'll give is we are having our early start summer school this summer in person. It's going to be from July 6th to July 30th. So it's actually 4 school weeks, and it's going to be from 9 to 2 p.m. We really, really, really want to make it a fun summer. So I will say Senator Chris Murphy has given us some guidance around, you need to bring your kids back into the building and make them remember how much fun they can have together safely. So we are trying to incorporate some great extracurricular activities, some fun ways to incorporate academic fun. So please keep your eyes out. All of that information will be coming shortly. And Kishima will share with you some of the other upcoming things for us and the district.
There you go. Nice plug.
Nice segue. Nice segue.
I work on it.
So once again, my name is Kishima Joan. I am the district coordinator of the Extended Learning and Family and Community Engagement. And I say that all day. So I should try to shorten that in some possible way. So mainly what my role is I'm responsible for partnerships within the district as far as after school programs at all of our schools for family and community engagement activities, workshops, meetings, focus groups, whatever you can think of, that's me. Right now, I'm planning three listening tours, which March 31st, I will be with Laurel, Metacomet, and Winterberry with those families. And then April 6th, I will be with Case and Camps. And April 21st, I will be with Gems in Bloomfield High School. Those times are just for parents to feel safe and have a safe place to share any concerns. I will be the only staff member there, so that way you don't have to feel as though you're calling out someone or saying you feel safe. I gave the families an option if they didn't feel comfortable to ask the question during that time to send in their questions. That way I came to the event with answers. And for anyone who cannot come, I plan to have all the answers to the questions put on the website. So that way, if it's something that you didn't think of or like you want to know, you can go there first, but you can always reach out to me. As far as early start, I think Principal Williams did share that. So I'm working with all of our sites who will be hosting early start to make sure that the enrichment piece is as fun as possible, so that the kids will at least have that time with their friends in the summertime that they haven't had for a full year in a very safe way. And then as we're planning summer, we're trying to plan next school year in our after school programs so that the kids can kind of get a taste of it during the summertime. So that way they just rave about it so much that they just have to go next school year. This year, as you know, recruitment has been a concern for everyone, only because it was just a tough year. So some parents didn't feel comfortable with their kids having so much screen time. So our after school programs were all online. So that was kind of hard, trying to convince parents to have your kids be online all day for school. Now come back online for 2 more hours for after school program. And I understand as a parent, it was just way too much. Any questions or concerns? Because I'm going kind of fast, trying not to take up too much time. No? Okay, I will share the listening tour flyer with Ms. Jordan, so that way you can just share it with the other members of the PTO. I know that Principal Williams has put it out in her reminders that she shares with families. I've only been in this position less than 3 months. So I'm just trying to make my way around to all the PTOs to meet as many families as I can to introduce myself, so that if you have any concerns or anything, that you know who I am and you know how to reach me. My office is located at Metacomet, but once we get back into buildings full time, I'll probably be around at different sites, just trying to make sure that I meet everybody and that I address any concerns or any needs that you may have or anybody else in the district may have.
Do you want to take a moment and type your email in the chat just so that everyone that's on the call has it?
Probably have the easiest email address.
Thank you. Awesome. Anyone have any additional questions for Ms. Jones? No? Okay. Well, thank
And
you.
I hope to see all of you guys at the listening tour when I share the flyer. I hope to see all of your names pop up on my form.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. I appreciate
No
your
problem.
time. All right. I will just finish up our meeting with the rest of my presentation. Oh, goodness gracious. Sorry, I'm trying to share the screen and it wants to share Mrs. Williams' presentation. All right. And so, update in regards to the Butter Braid and Cookie Dough fundraiser. We raised a total of $414 for CAIS, which is awesome. The pickup date is March 30th. So it is next Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. And we will be at the CAIS main entrance. So where you drop students off for the intermediate school in the morning. Any questions there? All righty. The virtual escape room. So we had described some different events we were interested in doing for the students, but we were not getting a lot of parent feedback in our Survey Monkeys to see if kids would even be interested in these things. So we sent out a Survey Monkey just today to see what students are actually interested in, if they're interested in a virtual escape room, if they're interested in the paint night fundraiser. So as of right now, we are thinking of doing the paint night fundraiser April 22nd. The problem is that there's a minimum of 20 painters needed. And as of yesterday, there was only like 3 students that I knew that were truly interested. So I am going to be keeping a close eye on the Survey Monkey results to see how many students are actually interested based on student feedback. So that's where we're at in regards to those virtual events. In regards to our next meeting, may be a paint night, may not be. We're gonna check and see. But regardless, April 22nd is our next meeting. And then our last meeting of this school year will be May 27th. Just a couple of reminders for you. May 29th is back to school Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for the people that chose to be in full time with a 12, it's technically 12:20 p.m. dismissal. We start on the intercom around 12:15 in the classrooms. April 7th through 9th, students will be virtual from home, as Mrs. Williams has said, in an effort to make sure that we have enough staff to cover the students because majority staff members will be getting their second COVID vaccination on April 7th. And the 12th to the 16th is spring break. And then April 19th, students that chose to come back to school will be in school for a full day with a 2:45 p.m. dismissal. So are there any questions? Anyone have any additional questions? All righty. Well, that wraps it up for this evening, folks. I will have Mrs. Williams send out any additional information that I need you to have, especially in regards to that paint night that will hopefully be coming up in April. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan.
You too.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, everyone.